Sharing my screen.
Yeah.
Is it visible, my screen?
Yes.
Okay. So today we will be going for functions. Okay.
Okay.
So how to write functions, a new topic. Okay. So what are actually functions? So basically, let's say, let me show you a use case. So actually, whenever we use something, we should first know why we are using it, right? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's say I have a problem that, let's say, A is a number and B is another number. Okay.
Okay.
What I
Okay.
wanted to do is I want to add this number. Okay. I want to add this three numbers. So basically, add B number. So what I will do? I will do that result equals A plus B plus B plus C, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And
Yeah.
if we print it, what result I will get?
You will get 30 plus 30, 60.
We will get 60, right? Now again, let's say after some line, if I get a requirement that I need to do the same thing again, the same thing, what same thing is adding these three numbers, then what I
Okay.
have to do after that, same requirement. If I have the same requirement, then again we have to do like result equals A plus B plus C, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
again we have to do we have to print the result as result. So like maybe that I want to do the same thing again and again, right? But
Okay.
for that, the logic, whatever I am writing, I have to write it like for multiple number of time, the same thing. Let's say in this case, I have only one line that yeah, I want to calculate only the result. But let's say I want to greet a person. Okay, I want to greet a person. So I will say, hello there, hello there, and welcome to my, let's say, application. You are running application. Welcome to my application.
Yeah.
Let's say thanks for visiting, something like this. Okay. So let's say I have these three lines of code. Okay. I am printing these three lines. Maybe
Okay.
that I want to use these three lines again. So what I have to do, I have to copy the same thing and
Yeah.
have to paste the same thing multiple times, right?
Yeah.
But if I had a way that I will be writing, don't you think this is like code duplication? I am writing the same code again and again. Abhi?
Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, if there is a options like I will be just writing the code, okay, only once, and I will be again and again calling the same thing again and again, just calling that thing, or better to say again and again using the same thing. So don't you think it will be better, like this whole thing I will be naming this thing, okay, and I will be just using it again and again. I will be declaring once and I will be just using it as and when required. Don't you think it will be better rather than just copy pasting again and again? What do you
Yeah.
think?
Yeah. Yes.
So let's say, let's take the example of this one, adding two numbers. Okay, adding, let's say, numbers. So to like get that functionality, what to use? We use functions. So how we will use? We will discuss everything. Okay. So basically, what are the advantages if we use functions? Okay. So what are the advantages? Let's see first. The first thing is so Python functions help us divide a program into modules that makes the code easier to manage. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that we will not be writing the same thing again and again. Rather, we will be just declaring once, and we will be using the same thing again and again wherever required, but not copy pasting it. So because of
Okay.
which, what will happen, the code manage will be easier. How easier? Let's say I want to like change here. Okay, what I need to change here? Okay, I need to change this application thing. Okay, maybe that I want to change this application to software. Okay, so now
Mm-hmm.
if I have copy pasted the code for 3 times, don't you think I have to change every time, like software here,
Yeah.
software here, and software here?
Yeah.
But if I declare it only once and use it again and again multiple times, don't you think if only in one place, if I change it to application, okay, and since I'm using this thing only again and again, okay, so don't you think the the
You
same
can.
thing will be just reflected
Uh,
to the others if we use this same thing and not copy pasting it?
no, I
What
think
do you
you
think?
can put a. I think you can put a variable equaling hello there. Welcome to my application. Thank you for visiting, and then you
Yeah,
can change. And then you can change application to whatever you want, and then you can just print X, and then there you go.
yeah, so basically actually we do not use a variable, but if I had a way, like the way I will show you by using functions, so so don't you think that will be a lot more easier than this?
Yeah.
Yeah, because here I have to again and again change everything wherever I have copy pasted the thing. So how to do it? Okay, let's not go for adding three numbers. Let's go for greeting only.
Okay.
So how the functions actually looks like. Okay, so first you have to use the keyword. Okay, this def keyword, def. So this is the way how to declare a function. Okay, this
Okay.
is the way how to declare a function. First you have to write def, then you have to give a name to it. Okay, then
Okay.
you have to give a name to it. This name you can give anything. Okay, anything you can give. Then you have to give a colon, and after that, inside that you can write whatever you want. Okay, so
Oh.
I'm showing you how to like how does that work. Okay, so so what I did,
Oh. Okay.
this is the way of writing function. First you have to use a def keyword. Okay,
And then you can write anything.
any name, any function name. Okay, then you have to
Yeah.
put a open and close like parenthesis, then you have to
And then
give a colon. Okay, and
yeah, and
inside
then
the
there you go. And then you just print greet, and then put the open brackets and the close brackets, and then you have
yeah,
the
so basically in the if statement also we have used indentation, right? Like I 1 greater than 10, let's say something like this. So see here, print I is greater than 10. Let's put everything in quotation. Okay, so basically what is happening here, see, after this colon, what we are doing, we are giving certain spaces, right? Because of which I am able to understand that this line is a part of this if statement, isn't it? We have discussed this, Avi, before,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So like that also, see, I have used indentation here. See, a certain number of spaces is already provided. Okay, so what does that mean? That means that if I now print that outside, let's not go for this now, outside the function, outside the function, or better to say outside the greet function. Okay, so this
Okay.
is inside greet function. Inside greet function. Okay, so see, after colon, I have written all these things with certain indentation, right? With certain spaces I have maintained. So basically, these 4 lines are part of what? These 4 lines are part of this
Great.
greet function. Is it clear? But
Yeah.
see, here have I used any sort of spaces?
No.
Any spaces are there relative to this def? No. So
No.
basically, do you think this line is a part of the main program or a part of this great function?
Part of the main program.
Part of the main program, right? So this is actually, we can say, outside the great function, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So now see, you told that we can keep this 3 or 4 lines inside a variable, right? But we will not be putting that inside a variable, but we will be putting that inside a function. Okay, in
Okay.
variable we can put like 1 2 3 or 1.2, like that, primitive values, as well as like other things. But in the functions we can keep lines of code. Okay, inside function, what we can keep? We can keep statements, different sort of statements, different sort of lines of code we can keep inside a function. But inside a variable we can keep a value. Is it clear?
Okay. Clear.
Inside a variable we can keep value or reference. So reference we will be discussing later. So for the time being, you can just think like this: variable can store what? Variable can store a value, but function can store a number of
Yeah.
lines or a number of statements which is to
Yeah.
be executed. Okay, now
Yeah.
the question is, it's okay that I have written this great function, but now how can I use this? How can I use this 4 lines? So I have to do nothing. I just have to, what is the function name? Tell me, what is the function name?
Greet. I mean.
Great,
Yeah.
great, right? And
Yeah.
parenthesis open close. That's it. This means that you have to write only the function name and parenthesis open close. That means that you are calling this 4 lines. Or better to say, you are calling all the lines that are inside this greet function. So whenever I am writing it, whenever I am running it, see what is happening. All the things are commented. Nothing is coming, like no output is coming from the above one.
Yeah.
Okay, so we are first going for line number 34. So Python is saying that, okay, def greet. Okay, I have a function. So okay, we have a function which has 4 lines. Okay, good. Well, then in line number 40, I have this print statement. So this print statement is a part of the main, right? Right.
Yeah.
So this will be first printed. This 4 will not be printed. Why this 4 will not be printed? Because here we are defining a function.
Yeah, because here we're defining a function only if we do greet and a open and ending bracket only, then will it print that.
Yes, in this 5 lines, what we are telling? We are telling Python that, see, I have a greet function and I have this sort of lines inside it. I'm not telling Python that execute this greet function. Is it clear? I'm just telling Python that, see, I have a greet function and I have these 4 lines. Okay, that's it. I'm not telling Python the Python run this greet function. No, I'm not telling that. I'm just telling Python that, see, Python, I have used this def keyword. That means that I'm defining a function. So this is my function name and I have this 4 lines of code inside this function. And wherever I will be needing to use this function, just provide me the lines of code. Okay, I will be just calling this function at that point of time. Just execute all the codes that is written inside the grid, but not now. Now I am only defining the function. Is it clear? What is the
Clear.
meaning of def grid and then writing 4 lines?
Yeah.
Okay, coming to line number 41. Here, see, I am directly telling Python print outside the grid function. So see, first outside the grid function is getting executed, right? We are
Yeah.
seeing the output first. Then in line number 42, what we are doing? We are What?
We are printing all these lines inside.
Calling the function.
We're calling the function by printing inside the great function and hello there, welcome to the application and thanks for visiting.
Yeah. And now in line number 42, whenever I am writing greet and parenthesis open close, we are telling Python that Python execute this print like greet function. So Python says, yeah, I have the knowledge about greet function. I saw the definition for that. So whenever you will writing this, Python will just execute this four sort of lines. So that's why see outside the greet function we have these four lines of code. Is it clear how the functions are working?
Yeah.
Okay. Now let's say print. I have a separator here. Okay. Then again I am calling greet. Then again I have a separator here. Then again I am calling greet. Then again I have a separator here. And once more I am calling greet. Now I am just running it. See. So at first outside this, then inside the same thing is getting executed, right? Abhi?
Yeah.
The same thing 4 times is getting executed because I have called this greet function 4 times. Now, if I want to change this application to software.
Wait, I have a question.
Yeah, tell me.
Can you do can you? I still don't understand. Can you do values inside of a function, or is it just statements?
See, values means like a equals 10 like this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that. I will be just like coming after some time in that topic. Okay, basically these are what Abhi, these are statements, right? This is
Yeah.
one statement, this is one statement. So this is also a statement, isn't it? A equals 10.
Yeah.
We actually in our main program also we used to write like this, isn't it? A equals 10. So
Yeah.
so whatever we can write inside the main, we can also write inside this function as well. Okay, this our own customized function as well. So we can even write like this, a equals 10, no problem. Okay, but we will be discussing later. First let's focus on only the static things, like only
And
the
also,
tell me.
what's the difference between function and variable?
Yeah, so in the variables, see, if I write a equals 10, okay, so see,
Yeah.
this a is what, this a is a variable, right? Is a a is what, variable. Why? Because a can store values, isn't
Okay.
it? A
Yeah.
can store values, but what is this greet? Greet is a function. Greet is not storing a value, but greet
Oh.
is storing a what, a part of code, some lines of code. Okay, which I like, I'm naming all this as one thing, like greet. Whenever
Oh.
I'm
Okay.
telling, whenever I want greet, I want to execute these 4 lines of code, that's it. I'm not
Yeah. Okay.
storing any value to the grid. Okay. I'm just
Oh,
telling Python that see Python. I repeatedly will not like again and again copy pasting the same thing. I will be naming all these things as a single unit, that is grid. Whenever I will be calling grid, just execute all of them.
okay.
Okay. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Abhi?
Yeah.
Okay. So now see, we have applications all where we have this application, right? Now in the place of application, if we use software, if we run it, see, all the places this software is getting updated, right? See, we have software everywhere, isn't it?
Yeah.
But let's say if I would have copy pasted this code for the four times, like I copied it, I just put everything in, let's say commenting, we are commenting it out, and we are just so we are pasting it for the 4 times, we are
Okay.
running it. See, we are getting the same output, right? I have
Yeah.
not used the separator, but we are getting the same output. Now If I want to change this software to application, how many times I have to change?
You have to change it like 4
I have to
4
change it for 4
4 times.
times, right?
But in function you can just
Mm,
change it once and then there you go.
yeah. So that is basically the difference. Okay.
Yeah.
Are
Okay.
you getting like how much the code like uh, you are getting how much ease in writing the code? You
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
this I have written, okay, that I have written this four times I have written, that is okay. But let's say you have 1,000 lines of code and you don't know that where you have used these 4 lines, right? Maybe that in from line number 17 to 21 you have used this, maybe in 50 to 53 you have used this, 50, 51, 52, 53, 3 lines you have used, like that, like randomly anywhere these 4 lines can be, right? If you are copy pasting it, so searching all the places where you have the thing and changing it, that is very hectic. That is very hectic. So what is the easy solution? What is the easy solution, Avi?
You can just do the function and then you can change it.
Yeah, we can just directly use a function, okay, and everywhere we will just be calling the function, and that's it. We will
Yeah.
not be doing like any other jobs. We will
Mm.
just be
Yeah, we can
calling
just
the function.
yeah.
We will just call the function, and that's it. Whenever I have requirement to change this software to application, just in the method definition, just in the function definition where I have declared the function, where I have defined or where I have declared the function, I just have to change it, okay, and everywhere else the result will be reflected. I
Okay.
think you got my point. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Python functions helps divide a program into modules that makes the code easier to manage, debug, and scale. Is it clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
That means that, see, manage these 3 things are like very much important. Manage, debug, scale. Manage is clear to you. 3 times you do not have to change. Only
Yeah.
one
Okay.
time. Second thing
Okay.
is debug. Debug means if there is a problem in your code, if you are copy pasting the same thing, okay, so all of a sudden you have to go for all the codes, like here 4 lines you have to see, okay, I have some problem here, I have some problem here. But if you are getting that you have a problem in this function, in this grid function, you don't need to visit any of the places inside your main code, right? You just have to
Yeah.
check whether these 4 lines of code is working fine or not, and that's
Yeah.
it. So because of which this debug is also easy. And scale means, like, if you, let's say you have 40 times you have to use this, 40 times you have to use this 4 lines of code. So
Okay.
how many total time it will take, like how many lines it will take? 160, isn't it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now if this is the case, if I am not using function. Now
Okay.
if I use function, what will happen? This 4 lines and this one extra line, I have to use this 5 lines, right? This 5 lines I have to use 5 plus, and I want to use this lines for how many times? 40 times, isn't it?
Yeah.
So basically we have to call this grid 40 times, isn't it? Grid, and like that we have to call it 40 times, isn't it? This
Yeah.
grid. So basically, can we say like this, that we have 5 plus 40 equals 45 total lines. We will be doing the same thing if we use function.
Okay.
Are you convinced,
Yeah.
or like should I tell in more details, or is it clear to you?
No. Yeah. But I don't.
Hmm.
Okay. 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 Yeah. I got it.
right? So this 4 lines I'm using it for 40 times. So basically 40 into 4, 160 lines of code, isn't it?
Hmm.
But if we are using a function, at first I have to define this function. So because of which these 4 lines and then one def line, def grid. So 5 lines at first, right?
Yeah.
At first I have 5 lines. Then 40 times I just have to write the great, like great
Yeah.
parenthesis. That I have
Yeah.
to write only 40 times. So 5, so 40 times that great and plus 5 for defining this function. So basically 40 in 45 lines, our like program will be running well and good. The same thing can be achieved without functions, but I have to write 160 lines. So don't you think like this is very much hectic? You are doing the same thing in less number of code, and here you are doing more number of codes.
Okay. Okay.
So that is basically this scaling means like if you can do the same thing with less number of code, so that is known as good scaling. Okay, so that
Okay.
is all about scale. So the second advantage is it implements code reuse. Every time you need to execute a sequence of statement, all you need to do is to call the function. Is it clear? Line number second,
Yeah.
second point. Okay. The Python functions allows us to change the functionality easily, and different programmers can work on different functions. What does this mean? This, see, functionality easily, this you have understood, right? Like
Yeah.
I just have to manage this 4 lines only, not this 160 lines, right?
Okay.
So basically it is much easier. And let's say this is a function. Okay, this is a function. So don't you think it will be good, like if I say that Abhi, make this grid function, and I am just making a function like def let's say goodbye function. I am making goodbye function, you are making this grid function. So independently we can work, right? And
Okay.
later on in the code we can just call this great and goodbye. But if
Okay.
if we are copy pasting the thing in this same file only, you have to write the code for great. Somewhere I have to write the code for what? I have to write the code for goodbye. But like if I use function, that in my laptop I just defined my goodbye function, you just defined greet function. At last in the same program we are calling the greet and goodbye. So like whenever we will be doing coding, this thing will be much more clear. Okay, but the main thing is this, we are using we are able to use the same code again and again, that is code reuse. And this
Okay.
functionality we are able to implement it easily because we do not have to go for each and every copy pasted lines. Okay,
Yeah.
and that makes our code easier to manage. I think you got the advantages, lots of advantages of functions,
Yeah.
right? Okay, so after that, these things like, so we actually saw how to define a function, right? So
Yeah.
if 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 I just say, we first have to write this def keyword, then we can, what do you have to write? We have to write function name,
Yeah.
right? Then you have to give a colon, and then here you have to write
Uh.
statement 1, let's say statement 2, dot,
Yeah. Yeah.
dot,
Yep.
statement 4, statement 5.
Okay.
And Abhi, like this Zoom meeting can only last for 40 minutes. Okay. So if
Oh.
you get disconnected, you can join with the the Google Meet link. Okay. It is with you, the
Or
Google Meet link.
but my dad is saying we can rejoin for the Zoom.
Yes, we can rejoin. So okay, then we will rejoin in this Zoom only.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So basically, these are the sort of, like, this is actually the structure of writing function, isn't it? So this
Okay.
is the structure of calling function and share sorry, it is not calling function, it is defining, right? Structure of defining function, and calling function will be what we have to write the function name
Okay.
and then have to give the parenthesis, isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, and here I missed the parenthesis. You can give it. Okay. So this is a standard way of writing function. Now, like the normal function you got, right? Abhi? The
Yeah.
normal
Yeah.
how to write a normal function. Okay. Now
Yeah.
let let's see a thing. Let's say I have nothing here. Okay. Now let's say I have a function. I want to add two numbers. Okay. Let's
Okay.
add function I have. So I am telling print. Let's say a equals 10, b equals 20, and result equals a plus b. Print. So if I run it, what will be the output?
Uh. It'll be 30.
If I run this code, okay, if I run this whole code,
Okay.
will I get output? And if I get output, what will be the output?
Yeah.
And
You will get an output. It'll be 30.
if I don't get output, okay, so why I will not get output? Just
No. No. No.
think,
No. 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 Make sure print is the main code.
yeah, but is this the main code?
No. So make sure print is in the main code.
So I have to make sure that print is a
Is
part
in
of the
the
main code.
Yeah.
Then the thing will work.
Yeah.
No, think of this carefully. And let's say, like, see, if I even write it here as well as a main code, then also it will not work. Okay, but let's say it is inside this add only. So what do you think? It will give us if I run the code, if I run this code now, will it give us any like output or not?
Yeah.
Sure.
Uh. Wait. Let me just double check.
See, I'm running it. See, I'm
Yeah.
not getting anything. Why?
Oh. Wait. What? I think something's wrong with the result equals a plus b.
What is wrong? No wrong. Nothing wrong.
Oh.
What is the wrong? Like I am adding the two numbers, right? A plus b, and using this assignment operator that is equals, we are putting the right values to the left value, that is result, right? Isn't it? And we are
Yeah.
printing the result. But why we are not getting any sort of out?
Because a function can't do.
Because
Function can't do values.
no. See here we are writing normal statements, but the thing is here I have defined the function. So define the function means what I told you, Avi. Python will not execute this all. Python will remember that, okay, I have add function and I have this many sort of statements inside it. That's it. Python will not execute these statements. To execute the statement, you have to call the function. Okay. Whenever you will call the function, then only Python will execute these lines of code.
Oh,
Otherwise,
oh,
Python will just remember that, okay, I have these 4 lines of code, which is part of this add function. That's it.
yeah.
After running this 5 lines of code, what Python will say that I have a I have an add function which has these lines of which has this statements. Is it clear?
Yeah.
But Python will not execute it. Okay. So
Because you need to call the function.
yeah, I need to call the function. If I don't call the function, Python will just remember that, okay, inside that I have these 4 lines of statement. That's it. I am not calling the function. So Python, like, I'm not using the function. Better to say, I'm not like using the function. Then why some output will come? If I run it, no output will come, right? Because I am not using this add. Inside that, I am telling that, yeah, these 4 lines of code are there. But to execute those, I have to call the function. If I call it, now if I run it, see, you are getting the output. Is it clear?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Now there is a, like, see, these thing 10 and 20, don't you think these are like, we can change its value? That is okay. We can change its value 20, 30. If I run it, what will be our output?
Yeah, yeah, 50.
50, right? But don't you think, Abhi, it will be good if from the main program only we can control these variables? Because these variables we are writing inside this add, right? If I again call this add, again we will get 50, right?
Yeah.
If I call this add again, we will get 50. But let's say I don't, for this add, I don't want to add these two numbers. I want to add two different numbers. Is it possible in this code? What do you think? Is it possible in this code?
Uh,
Because
you can.
what is the problem you got, Abhi? What is the problem? The problem is I'm telling that add. I'm calling this function. But all the times I don't want to add these two numbers only, 20 and 30. This because maybe my requirement, right? Maybe my requirement that this time I don't want to just add this 20 and 30. I want to add two other numbers, isn't it? So don't you think if I can control this, if I can pass the values from this main function, it will be better?
Yeah.
Okay, so how to do that? Let's see. So this is basically, we cannot change it, right? So how to do it? We have to write def add, okay, and in the result, here I will not be defining a plus b, but what I will do, from the main function, I will be passing two numbers. Let's say 10, 20. And these two numbers I will be storing in a variable. So in this parenthesis only, I am telling a, b. Okay.
Okay.
If I run it now, see what is the output? 30. Beautiful word.